Nerd alert! Learning is important, right?
Yes, exactly. What a bunch of nerds.
Nerd alert!
Right.
Marketing Architects.
Hello, and welcome to the Marketing Architects, a research-first podcast dedicated to answering your toughest marketing questions. I'm Elena Jasper on the marketing team here at Marketing Architects, and I'm joined by my co-host, Rob Demars, the Chief Product Architect of Misfits and Machines.
Hello!
We're back with our weekly Nerd Alert. Every week, I'll take a deep dive into academic marketing research and translate its complex ideas into simple, understandable language for Rob. And of course, for all of you, are you ready to nerd out, Rob?
Installing NerdOS version Elena.
All right, let's get into it. As always, we'll link the research we cover in the episode notes. This study we're talking about today is called Choice Overload, a conceptual review and meta-analysis. This is by Alexander Chernev, Ulf Bokenholt, and Joseph Goodman, published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology in 2015. This study is all about the paradox of choice, the idea that more options can sometimes hurt, not help, our decision-making. But before we get too far, Rob, when was the last time you felt completely paralyzed by too many choices?
Oh man, I just buy all the choices. Recently, I bought a Garmin watch, and they have way too many versions, different sizes, different so I bought them all, and I had Best Buy ship them all, and I had to try them all on because there was just too many, and it was exhausting. But yeah, too many choices.
Yes, I felt that same way looking at Garmin products. I agree with you. Sometimes it can be almost paralyzing how many options, especially when you're coming from like an Apple Watch to Garmin.
A longtime Apple Watch person, they give you choices and you pick one and you're good. Where I appreciate the variety of the Garmin, it's just it was exhausting.
So sometimes it seems like less choices can be helpful, or at least less energy draining. Well, that's what this study looks at. They studied 99 experiments across 7,200 people to figure out when those many options help and when they overwhelm. So let's talk about it. Their first finding was that task difficulty matters. So when the choice itself is difficult, maybe because of time pressure, lots of product attributes, or needing to justify your decision, overload kicks in. For example, one experiment showed that under time pressure, people choosing from larger sets felt more regret and less satisfaction than those with smaller sets. So if the decision feels like homework, more options just add to the stress. So Rob, what's harder for you, comparing a bunch of similar options or weighing trade-offs between totally different features?
Oh, it's so much easier when it's big features versus a bunch of smaller features. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
That's what you mean. Yeah. Even the Garmin watch example, it's like, okay, there's so many of them that finally I'm just like, I just went for the big chunky one.
Yep. So the authors, they found that it's not just the number of options, it's how they're structured. So if there's one dominant option, so if it's clearly better on key attributes, people choose confidently. But when the options are equally attractive or hard to compare, overload spikes. So this would align with what you said. The study also found that alignable attributes, like comparing phone storage sizes, make choice easier. But when attributes are non-alignable, say better storage versus better camera, it's tougher and more overwhelming. Their third finding was about preference uncertainty. If people don't know what they want, more choice makes it worse. In a famous chocolate experiment, participants who had a clear ideal point enjoyed choosing from large assortments, but people without well-formed preferences froze, deferred choice, or ended up less satisfied. Finding number 4 had to do with a decision goal. The authors found that the consumer's goal had an effect on the outcomes as well. So if you're browsing for fun, large assortments are enjoyable. But if your goal is efficiency, big assortments backfire. One experiment showed that browsers loved having more options, while buyers with a concrete purchase in mind were more likely to feel overloaded. And what does that overload look like? The study found that people felt less satisfied and confident. They experienced more regret. They were more likely to defer the decision entirely, and they were more likely to switch products later. In short, too much choice in the wrong context doesn't just delay a decision, it leaves people less happy with whatever they pick. It's time for a Rob GPT. Choice overload is like walking into an ice cream shop. If you're just browsing with friends, 50 flavors is fun. You might even sample a few. But if you're having a busy day and all you want is a simple cone, those 50 flavors can feel like a hurdle. The number of options hasn't changed, but your goal has. All right, Rob, what'd you think of that one? Short and sweet.
Yeah, totally resonates. It's interesting. We have 2 different malls in Edina, Minnesota. One is the largest mall, like the first mall, I think, in America was Southdale, right? Massive mall, all kinds of choices. And then right next to it is this tiny mall called the Galleria. Which mall do you think is more successful? The large mall with all these options, or Galleria, which is this small curated stores in a very tiny footprint? You live here,
Yeah.
like Southdale's abandoned, like the stores, they can't sell a damn thing. And the Galleria, I've heard, is one of the most expensive per square foot stores in the United States. And so you look at the two different footprints, and you would think that the large mall with all the options would have been historically amazing. And it turns out it's this smaller mall with just really good stuff in it, but it's curated and there's less options.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder when are more, it's almost safer to have less options, it seems like, because you don't always know how consumers are like buying your product, what state of mind they're in, what goals they have. It almost seems like simpler, according to this study, to me feels like a safer bet than going complex.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like the counter example. Like I was thinking about like Costco, right? Costco is a massive warehouse store and is obviously very successful. But even there, you're sort of relying on their power buyers because they don't always offer the same stuff every time. And it's a lot of one thing. So it's not like they have a lot of options for ketchup. They've got one option for ketchup, but you can buy a lot of it. So maybe that's the difference.
That could be why people like Costco so much.
Right, right.
Yeah, better strategy. That's it for this episode of The Marketing Architects. We'd like to thank Taylor De Los Reyes for producing the show. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, and if you like the podcast, please leave us a review. Now go forth and build great marketing.
Marketing Architects.